addressing the elephant in the room. Hi guys, it's Sam Day here from DeyTips.com, and in today's video I want to discuss my personal experiences of being a black entrepreneur. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because there's a lot more to being an entrepreneur than just knowing how to market a product or knowing how to list something on eBay or to promote your services using Google. But it takes somewhat of a backbone and some of your personal experiences and some wit that can't really be taught by techniques or systems or programs, but can only be taught by experiences. And I kind of want to tap into that more into this YouTube channel and explaining my personal experiences as an entrepreneur. And the first video that I'm putting out there is my experience as a black entrepreneur, because it's something that is important to me. And often it's the elephant in the room, and often at business events or networking events, I'm one of the only black entrepreneurs in the room. And what often happens when I'm at a business event or a networking event is someone who I'm interacting with and conversating with, somewhere in the conversation they will address the elephant in the room, but it wouldn't be as blatant as saying, oh, it's good to see a black person here, but they'll be subtle with it and they'll say, you know, it's good to see someone like you here. And so obviously they're referring to it, or they're making reference to the fact that I'm black. And sometimes it can be a little bit awkward. So I wanted to speak about that and address that. And one of the reasons why I wanted to speak about events in particular is because I attend quite a lot of events. I go abroad, I go to New York, I've been to Vegas. There's a lot of events in the UK that I attend as well. Different types of marketing events, events about SEO, all different types of e-commerce and business and networking events, so that I can increase my understanding of my industry and also meet individuals that can help me to progress to the next level of my business. And one thing that I've definitely noticed about these events is that the black race is definitely underrepresented at the majority of these events. Now, I'm talking about 90% of the events that I go to, and the more prestigious the event is, the less black people I actually see attending those kinds of events. Now, I used to just think that maybe black people are not as entrepreneurial as other races, but what I began to realize is the people who I was meeting at these events were not all entrepreneurs and business owners, but a great number of people who were attending the events I was going to actually came from different organizations, and they were sent to those events from their managers. So the people who I would meet and network with will be marketing managers at different companies. They might be managing the email marketing department of their organization. They might be video creators for their specific company. So they're not actually representing their own brands half the time, but they're actually being sent to those events from their companies. And this is something that really bothered me and challenged me, because it either means that these companies are not sending their black workers or their black employees to represent the company at these types of business events, or there might just be a lack of black individuals who hold a senior position within some of these companies. Either way, I often felt like the odd one out at these events. You know, obviously I've gotten over it, and I've been to so many events now that I'm just so used to it. I'm used to walking into an event and being one of the ethnic minorities. Would networking for me be a little bit easier if there were more black individuals at these events and attending these events, and who were actually the marketing managers of companies and so on and so forth? Yes, it probably would make it a little bit easier, because you don't feel like you're the odd one out. But certain times it does feel like I'm the odd one out, but you have to have that backbone and you have to just get up and you have to just do it. I've been an entrepreneur since I was about 15 years old. So I've been in this game for roughly 10 years now, and you kind of just have to pick up skills that you don't have. You can't look at your disadvantages as disadvantages. You just have to use what you've got and turn it into something more. And I do a lot of business offline as well as online. And I do feel like, you know, when you enter certain meetings and the majority of the people who are sitting in those meetings are not black individuals, there's this kind of air, or this stereotype of what they think that you're going to be like. But when you actually produce the work, they're sometimes surprised. And this doesn't really help. You know, being a black entrepreneur, you would hope that people don't judge you by the color of your skin, but that people judge you by the work that you actually produce and whether or not you are good at what you say you're going to do. And by no means am I complaining about being a black entrepreneur, but I'm just aware that there's certain opportunities, there's certain doors that maybe would have opened quicker, or maybe would have been easier for me if the black race wasn't so underrepresented in a lot of the business forums that I am involved in. But I definitely count it as a blessing. I feel like being a black entrepreneur has helped me with my hustle. Sometimes you have to work a little bit harder, a little bit extra, and I don't mind doing that. I work extremely hard at what I do, both online and offline, and I'm going to speak about that in a later video as well. But I hope this video really resonates with some of you. You might not be black how I am, but there might be another elephant in the room in your life and in your experience as an entrepreneur. And if that be the case, then let me know in the comment section down below. You know, have you ever gone to an event and felt like the odd one out? Have you ever felt like there's something that you can't change about yourself, but that can sometimes have an effect on the opportunities that are before you? And another thing that I want to address just before the end of this video is being a young black entrepreneur is also something that has worked against my favor, because particularly in the UK, young black entrepreneurs are seen as a certain way. Whether we like it or not, we are often portrayed as troublemakers because of the way we are depicted in the news, and that is far from the truth. Just like any other race, there's always going to be a small minority that ruins it for the rest. And that's how I feel like we are treated as young black entrepreneurs, specifically in the UK. Sometimes we are stereotyped, and it's not always even by other races. Sometimes we can be stereotyped by our own races. You know, we don't get the employment opportunities that we should. We don't necessarily get the respect that we deserve. And I'm going to tell this short story as well of I was actually visiting a friend of mine. He had a lot of mental issues, and he's been in and out of mental hospital, and he's mixed race, and the government actually put him in a hostel. And now this hostel was there to help him, you know. He didn't have to live with his parents anymore. He could live independently and try and get himself on his feet. And I came and I visited the hostel, and the staff members were extremely hostile towards me. And I knew that it was probably because I was a young black individual. And although I was dressed smartly and I spoke eloquently, I was still stereotyped and treated like rubbish just because of the color of my skin and the fact that I was a young black male. Now, I actually had a conversation with my friend who I visited, and he told me that when his parents came, particularly his mum and his dad, so his mum was black and his dad was white, they were treated fairly. No one spoke to them rudely or harshly or anything like that. But I was spoken to so rudely and so harshly, and I hadn't done anything, and simply because of the color of my skin. Now, I know that is not kind of in relation to business, but this is just how sometimes in the UK we're treated as young black individuals. And without me getting too political here in this video, it does work similarly in the business realm, in terms of it might not be as explicit as that. You know, racial stereotypes might not be as apparent when you're in different business settings. People are acting very professional, but there are undertones of, you know, people having preconceived ideas of who you are and, you know, your capabilities just because you're a black individual. And again, you know, like I've said, I don't want it to be like I've got a chip on my shoulder. I'm simply just sharing these experiences because hopefully it can help some of you as my YouTube subscribers and viewers to be like, you know what, it doesn't really matter what obstacles you have as an entrepreneur, but you can push forward and you can get up, because being an entrepreneur, like I was saying, is more than just knowing the theory. It's more than just having an email list and having a marketing strategy, but it's about having that resilience to say, you know what, you know, maybe I am a black entrepreneur, or maybe I am a little bit young, or maybe I have this or that against me, but it's all about being resilient. It's about, you know, when life knocks you down, getting back up again and, you know, refusing to quit. Because as an entrepreneur, there will be so many occasions when it's so easy for you to quit and to throw in the towel and to be like, look, this isn't for me, this isn't working. But it's about having that thick skin to say, do you know what, I don't really care about my circumstances. I don't really care how difficult it is, but I'm an entrepreneur and I'm going to push through. So hopefully this video helped you in some way. If it did, then please let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know your experiences as well. But if this video did help you out, please click the like button down below and make sure you share this video with a friend. Please check out my other videos on this channel, and more videos are to come, so make sure you subscribe. But until next time, have a great day, and I will see you soon.